Is this for real? You bet it is. Wow, what a what a heck of a way to start this video off. Hello everyone, Claire Fluffle here with a brand new Kirby Copy Ability Spotlight. It's a brand new year, and with that comes brand new spotlights. And what better way to start this year off, set the standard for the whole year to follow, get in the mood of the next 365 days, than with the circus. Don't clown around and give the video a like. And if you want more great laughs like only a circus and me can provide, be sure to ring the notification bell after subscribing, which really helps me out. Oh, and don't forget to leave a comment voting for the next spotlight. The voting ends on February 14th, 2023, so if you're watching after that, or you have a phobia of clowns, honestly, I can relate, let me know what you think about Circus. Do you like it? Don't like it? Weirded out about how the Triple Deluxe flavor text calls it the clown arts, like it's a form of dark magic or something? Let me know in the comments and enjoy the video. So, we've got an interesting one on our hands. Circus, an ability introduced in Triple Deluxe, then only seen again in Planet Robobot. Triple Deluxe is a fan-favorite game, no questions asked, but Circus wound up being one of the most controversial things about it. Yeah, a lot of people really don't like this one. It definitely has its fans, myself included, but compared to most abilities, there's a lot of vitriol thrown at this one. I don't know, I really like the animations for when Kirby dances on the little bouncy ball. They're very satisfying. But speaking of satisfying, maybe Circus does better for speedrunning than in the public eye? Only one way to find out, right? Well, only one way that's easily slapped together in a video like this. Alright, enough clowning around. Let's circle back to the main topic and see how good, or bad, Circus is for Kirby speedrunning. Number 2, Kirby Planet Robobot. A honk, a honk. What even was that? This might seem like a formality since we're at number 2 of 2 games, but Circus and Planet Robobot is pretty good. In a vacuum, I'd actually argue it's better here than in Triple Deluxe, but there are a few reasons why Circus in TDX comes out on top. For now, though, we talk about Planet Robobot. To what I'm assuming is nobody's surprise, Circus sees no use in categories like any percent or 100%. Robobot's main game categories are actually quite varied in terms of ability usage, but Circus has some things holding it back. Well, it's really one thing, that being its awkward dash attack, but it isn't like the other moves are doing it much favors. I love standing still and waiting for a balloon to pop. Such efficiency. Well, okay, I actually really like this move, but for the sake of speedrunning, humor me, okay? Where Circus truly shines, and which may surprise some of you less familiar with this kind of thing, is against the bosses. Ergo, the true arena and the regular arena by extension. Many abilities in Planet Robobot are really complex when talking about how they tackle bosses, due to how boss invulnerability, or boss invul as I like to call it, I think it sounds cooler, was changed. I've talked about this in every single spotlight involving Planet Robobot before, but if you're new or need a refresher, I'll try to keep it brief. I very rarely can when it comes to this very specific topic, but I'll try. Kirby games prior to Planet Robobot had varying periods of length where bosses couldn't be hit after getting hurt. Kirby also has this. If you're feeling lucky like a punk, you can pick up any Kirby game and get hit. You'll notice that Kirby shines for a bit and will actually hurt enemies. This also applies to the bosses, minus the whole shining part. It's Kirby's time to shine. Like it normally is. Anyway, how long bosses were safe from the Pink Warrior varied from fight to fight, until Return to Dreamland and Triple Deluxe made it universal. It already felt really short in Triple Deluxe, and Robobot just took it out entirely. Now, nothing could stop Kirby from annihilating everything in sight. This really shook things up, but what did it mean for Circus? In the last game, Circus's main form of damage was trampoline. Now, Kirby would jump on a trampoline, shrunk, and then, if timed correctly, would jump on another trampoline. That just poofs in out of nowhere in the air. The move is called acrobatics. While it's not the fastest, it wasn't really all that slow either, especially considering you were landing 2 hits. If you want exact numbers, the first attack, trampoline, deals 32, while the second, acrobatics, dealt 42. This is all neat, albeit seemingly unrelated to how bosses take damage. If anything, it seems like Circus was totally unchanged. But that's where you're wrong, because I intentionally left out information on the internet. See, acrobatics actually has another part to the attack, that part being the trampoline that pops in out of nowhere. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, only 24, but if we do some basic math here, 32 plus 42 equals 74. Meanwhile, 32 plus 42 plus 24 equals 98. That's real close to comparing 75 to 100. If there's another digit being added, you know it's gotta be a big deal. The issue in Triple Deluxe was that there's no way to get both the trampoline and the Kirby to both deal damage. But with Planet Robobot removing Mercy, all three of these hits, a hit. Of course, Circus has other good moves. The balloon pop move that I clowned on earlier. Yeah, haha, laugh it off. The joked about earlier, balloon pop art is very good as a first hit for mini bosses. The spinning ball balance move, ball balance, is very strong as well. Even the dash attack, fire hoop jump, has some uses here and there, but the big reason why Circus is as good as it is winds up being the trampoline plus acrobatics combo. Very neat. Number 1, Kirby Triple Deluxe. I can't really build this up because there's only 2 games, but hey, Triple Deluxe is number 1 here. And I already talked about how Circus works in the true arena, so what else is really left to say? Well, I can't say much new, but I can explain why Triple Deluxe Circus is better than Robobot Circus to begin with. I said earlier that, in a vacuum, Circus is better in that game than this one, but what did I mean by that? What was I cooking? Hey, we're not talking about cook this week, you knocked that off. Basically, even though Planet Robobot's changes benefited Circus, and it technically is better in that game, and execution, it's not. And if that sounds like it makes no sense, I'm sorry. It sounded really funny that way in my head when I worded it like that. But fortunately for both of us, the explanation is very simple. In Planet Robobot, Circus ranks at number 13 for ability solo times. In Triple Deluxe, it ranks at number 8. That alone is enough for me to say that it's better, but I guess it would help to understand why it ranks higher in the game it's technically worse in. Lucky for you, that explanation is also very simple, and I won't make it needlessly difficult to understand for the sake of a joke this time. Anyway, it's better in one game because it's better than in the other game. Thanks for watching. Planet Robobot removed boss invul for every ability, not just Circus. Every ability got the chance to benefit from that change, and simply put, other abilities did it better. Not to mention there were already new abilities like Poison, returning abilities like Hammer, and returning new abilities, my head hurts, like Smash that do what Circus did, but better. In Triple Deluxe, Circus was one of the new things, and there weren't so many drastic changes coming in from the last game. Circus is just kind of allowed to do its thing. If anything, unlike Robobot, abilities coming from the last game, Return to Dreamland, were made worse. Another point indirectly in Circus's favor. They either lost tools, or did less damage, or were erased entirely. Not every ability was made worse, but as most were, it meant there was a lot less competition for Circus. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that Circus deals with Triple Deluxe bosses better than Circus deals with Planet Robobot bosses. Because of that, Circus is better in Triple Deluxe. Enough said. As far as anything TDX specific, there's not much to say. Trampoline into acrobatics is still crazy, moves like Balloon Pop Artist and Ball Balance are strong secondary options, things I already said. Triple Deluxe bosses do tend to take a lot longer than any other Kirby game really, so defeating them quickly is a must. This is because they really love going into the background where they can't take damage, or doing some kind of attack that reduces how much damage they take, or some funky combination of the two. The bad abilities in Triple Deluxe really suffer for this, but Circus mostly doesn't have to worry about it. And in fairness, Circus does pretty good against one of the most infamous bosses, actually who am I kidding, the most infamous boss in the entire game, Pyramid. It's always funny looking at the times for Triple Deluxe, because the standard time for a boss fight is somewhere in between, I don't know, 20 and 50 seconds, while Pyramid is always at least 10 to 30 seconds longer, because there's so much time in that fight where you can't do anything. It's terrible. Actually, you know what? Since the video is so short, I think we do have some time to delve into the specifics. Looking at it compared to other abilities, it struggles a little bit with Coily Rattler. Even if the fight itself, this still doesn't take that long. The first half is all about positioning, and the second half is all about timing. Tricky stuff, but at least explaining it is easy. Trampobatics, really, really good. On the flip side, Circus excels against Dark Meta Knight and Sectonia Soul. My main source for the arena modes from Return to Dreamland through Planet Robobot literally just says it's very easy because of the trampoline for Sectonia Soul. It is not just me saying that, okay? As for Dark Mennonite, while the world record Circus run got pretty unlucky here, you can still see why Phase 1 should go really well. Trampoline hits, you use acrobatics, the trampoline falls on Dark Mennonite, and then when Kirby lands, he gets hit by the Kirby part of acrobatics. Dark Mennonite is actually small enough for the Planet Robobot tech to work. It's really funny, actually. Mennonite's he's just a tiny little guy. Phase 2 is a complete joke as well. It tends to be for any ability that's super good. Just get the right Dark Mennonite when he turns to the mirrors, and use Ball Bounce. There you go, you win. Easy. For the other fights, Circus falls under the category of really, really good. It's consistent, which is why it's as good as it is. A really good ability with really good times is really good. That said, number 8, really good, but is it great? Not really, so despite all of the good that I could say about it, I don't think this is going to be the most pleasant of final verdicts. Speaking of, let's get to that. I said, let's get to that. Why isn't the footage fading? Vegas, you're testing my patience. Oh? Is this a hundo speedrun? Oh, okay. Hundo speedruns are super cool. I'll always think that. Oh? Oh? Alright then, now we're talking! Explaining abilities in Kirby speedrunning can be very cruel at times, so I like to look at abilities that aren't meant to be used for movement in a different way from the ones that are. If you've got a niche, frankly, that's good enough. You aren't built to run, but if you still make the game faster, who am I to argue with that? And the reason why you ditched Wing for Circus is so easy to understand at this point that I would be annoyed if you couldn't answer it for me. Unfortunately, this isn't an interactive video, so unless you want to leave your guess in the comments below, I'll have to make do with what I've got. Circus is used in TDX Hundo because a very short while after you get it, there's a mini-boss fight. Most of the actual level in between can be handled with slide kicks, which is technically slower than Wing, but in this very specific instance, it is not slower than Wing for this specific mini-boss. And, as I'm sure you could all tell, the mini-boss gives you Fire, undeniably the best ability in the whole game. So even though Circus's time to shine is short, it's still valuable. So valuable, in fact, that you can give up Wing of all things and still save time. And to me, I like it. That's worth mentioning. Any percent doesn't use this because Fire is just a tad dummy good. It could even be an outdated strat for all I know, but most likely, it's here to stay in Hundo, and that's neat. So how was Circus in the grand total of 2 games it starred in? Pretty good. I still can't call it great considering the facts, and it only being in 2 games hurts it compared to some of the more consistent staples, but we've covered abilities that have appeared in 5, 7, even 10, or maybe even 2 games, and they struggle to be good in any of them. So Circus having 1 good and 1 really good, pretty good. Another ability to put in the people don't like it that much, but that doesn't mean squat for speedrunning pile, even if it isn't as extreme as something like how insane Jet is, or how uninsane Mirror is. But with that, another spotlight has come to a close. Thank you all so much for watching. These are always super fun to make, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Remember to either vote in the comments below or let me know your thoughts on Circus or the video or whatever. I know at the time of me uploading this, with Fire Emblem Engage being out, there hasn't been a lot of Kirby on the channel, but there's no time for me to rest now. Return to Dreamland Deluxe is coming out, and there's bound to be tons to talk about with that game. It also reminds me that we still haven't gotten Wing to win one of these somehow. Real strange. Anyway, I've been Claire, thank us a ton for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye!